Hey guys, welcome back to another IGCSE Econs past year walkthrough. This video is a continuation of part 1 of section B for this paper. I'll be discussing question 5, 6, and 7, so if you want to check out the previous questions, you can find the link in the description below.
Question 5. Moldova is Europe's poorest economy with many of its people living in poverty. It is mainly an agricultural economy with many small farms. Its shops are also small. The government has used a range of policies, including supply-side policy, to improve the economy's performance. It has mostly been successful. For instance, unemployment has fallen.
Okay, so part A, identify two supply-side policy measures. Okay, so first you need to know what supply-side policy is. So it's the long-term measures to increase the productive capacity of the economy. And examples of this could include the government improving the quality of education and training, or like cutting income tax or reducing unemployment benefits, as it would encourage more people to work and allows the economy's productive capacity to increase over time. And here's some more examples taken from the mark scheme, and you can write any of these supply side policy measures. Okay, part B. Explain two ways the government could reduce relative poverty. So once again, relative poverty, the definition, it's referring to those who have a lower living standard compared to the average member of society, or like the average person. So to reduce this, the government can redistribute income and wealth by imposing progressive tax, which means that high income individuals have to pay more from their income. And the government can use the amount that they earn from this tax to give to those lower income people. Or they could also reduce indirect tax, which also reduces relative poverty because it reduces the burden of buying goods and services, and it mainly benefits the poor. Lastly, you could also have welfare payments, which is paid to the low-income individuals and it's usually financed by the government's tax revenue. So yeah, here are the ways. Okay, part C. Analyze the reasons why small shops may be easy to set up. So one of the reasons is due to the low initial cost required to set up, since the small shops is like small scale, so obviously it would be less costly. Or it could also have lower fixed costs since the rent could be cheaper for a smaller shop. Or the government could also try to encourage small businesses from starting up, so they might provide subsidies, which makes it easier for small firms to set up. And the small shops may also be just easier to manage because it's a smaller scale, so it doesn't require significant management skills. Okay, part D. Discuss whether or not firms will benefit from a fall in unemployment. Okay, so as always, include both sides for discussed questions. So for why the firm may benefit from a fall in unemployment, it may be because more people are employed. So they have higher income, which increases aggregate demand in the economy, and firms will profit more. There's also going to be more tax revenue earned from the higher employment because of direct taxation, which is on income. So the government may spend it on improving workers' training. Okay, but firms may also not benefit from falling unemployment. And this may be because of fewer skilled labor left, so firms can only hire those less skilled people, since all the good skilled people, they will already be hired. So new firms, they can only hire those with lower skills, which is obviously not good for them. And there may also be competition for hiring workers, which may drive up wages and increases a firm's cost, which is obviously not good, as it could also lead to inflation in the future. Okay, question 6.
In a mixed economic system such as Portugal's, the government intervenes in the economy. Reasons for government intervention include to correct market failure and to achieve its aims for the economy, such as control of inflation. In 2017, 1/5 of Portugal's population was living in poverty, and the government increased its spending.
Okay, part A, sorry. Identify 2 reasons why market failure may occur. Okay, so it could be due to inefficient allocation of resources, because market failure occurs when the market doesn't allocate scarce resources efficiently. And it could also be due to existence of external costs and benefits. For example, factories that produce pollution create external costs for which the consequences don't have to be dealt with by those who caused it. And the next example for external benefits could be education, where it's actually beneficial, but perhaps because of information failure and underconsumption, it leads to an inefficient allocation of resources. And lastly, some firms may abuse monopoly power, which leads to market failure because they could charge extremely high prices on certain goods and services, since monopolies are the main distributor in the market. Okay, part B. Explain how resources are allocated in a mixed economic system. Okay, so in a mixed economic system, there's presence of both the public and private sector, so the government and private firms are involved. And for allocation of resources in the private sector, it's mainly based on the price mechanism or the market forces or of demand and supply. So these firms are mainly motivated by profit incentives. So they will only provide goods and services that can profit, or which may lead to some resources not being provided, and hence market failure. And this is where the public sector comes in, and the government will try to allocate resources efficiently, and they do this in order to overcome market failure. So yeah. Okay, part C. Analyze how a high rate of inflation may harm the poor. So high inflation rate would increase the price of goods and services, especially of basic necessities, so it may lead to absolute poverty. And because general prices are higher, purchasing the same goods would take up a larger portion of the poor's income, which makes less money available for the poor to save up on. And during inflationary periods, their purchasing power also decreases because they can now buy less goods with the same amount of money. There will be less job opportunities, which isn't beneficial for the poor. And the reason that there will be less jobs is that employers would be less likely to hire when their operating costs are higher. Okay, part D. Discuss whether or not increasing government spending will enable a government to achieve its aims for the economy. For this discussed question, we can start with why increasing government spending will enable it to achieve its economic aims. So firstly, increased government spending contributes to higher aggregate demand, which results in economic growth since output increases as well. The government could also increase their spending on improving the training of workers and providing better education, which leads to better skilled workers, and it also reduces unemployment. And since more people are are skilled, the poor may gain jobs as well as reducing which also reduces income inequality. Next, we should discuss why increasing government spending will not enable it to achieve its aims. So, increased spending may lead to higher aggregate demand, but it could also result in demand pull inflation if the aggregate supply doesn't increase along with aggregate demand. So there could also be higher spending on unemployment benefits, which encourages people to remain unemployed since they'll receive good benefits, hence increasing voluntary unemployment. And if more people are employed, they would obviously have higher income than previously when they're unemployed. So there will be higher spending on imports, which results in a deficit in the current account. And it's obviously not ideal for the economy. Okay, question 7.
The price elasticity of demand for sugar in most countries is less than 1. In 2017, the price of sugar fell. However, the price of specialized, higher quality sugar grown in countries such as Mauritius fell by less than the average global price. Efficient producers such as some farmers in Brazil that have a low fixed cost of production were also less affected by the fall in price.
Question A. State the formula used to calculate PED. Okay, so this question is relatively straightforward, and this is the formula if you don't already know, but you should know this by now. It's like one of the basic formulas. And one thing that you have to note for this formula is the percentage change. And yeah, that's all. And you will get 2 marks. Okay, question B. Explain 2 reasons why the price of sugar may fall. So, when the price of the substitutes for sugar decreases, consumers will switch to a cheaper substitute, and there will be lower demand for sugar. So the producers will try to decrease sugar prices to encourage consumption for sugar. And this is why the price of sugar may fall. And then another reason is perhaps there's an increase in the price of its complement, which will reduce the price of sugar since consumers will look for cheaper alternatives, which would be sugar. And people could also be more aware about the negative health effects of sugar, which leads to lower demand for sugar, and suppliers will once again decrease their prices to try to encourage consumption. Okay, part C. Analyze the possible reasons why a producer's fixed cost may increase. So fixed costs are the production costs that don't change as output changes. And to analyze this question, you can first write the definition for fixed costs and analyze the reasons. So fixed costs may increase if landlords raise the rent because part of a firm's fixed cost includes rent. If inflation occurs, the workers' wages would also be higher, which increases fixed costs once again. Furthermore, an increase in production scale of the firm would also increase the fixed capital cost for the firm. So yeah, we have 3 possible reasons for an increase in fixed cost. Okay, question D. Discuss whether or not a country will benefit from specializing in an agricultural product such as sugar. Okay, so let's first discuss why the country may benefit from specializing in agricultural products. So the country could have an advantage in sugar production or just production of agricultural goods, and this leads to lower production costs and a lower price can be charged to consumers. Or the country may also have more trained labor on agricultural production, which then increases their efficiency. This could increase their exports and the revenue they earn from exporting agricultural goods, therefore increasing their current account position. So, some reasons for why the country may not benefit from specializing in agricultural products could be that agricultural goods tend to be affected by poor weather, which then negatively affects the supply of such goods. Furthermore, specializing in agricultural production may increase its supply, but it doesn't mean that the demand for it will increase as income increases. Only the demand for manufactured goods will tend to increase when this happens, so the country won't really benefit from specializing in agricultural products. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and I hope it was helpful.